Welcome to NoOffice, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. In Nozbe, we believe that work is not a place to go. It is a thing that you do. That is why since 2007, we run our company 100% remotely. In Nozbe, there is NoOffice. The NoOffice podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app that helps modern teams do great things. Go to nozbe.com to learn more.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome. This is episode number 15 of NoOffice, a podcast about work, technology, and life from remote company perspective. I'm Rafał Sobolewski, and as always, I'm joined by CEO and founder of our NoOffice company, Nozbe, Michael Sliwinski. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Hi, man. Yeah, I'm good. Because we are recording these podcasts like every 2 weeks in English and every 2 weeks in Polish, I got confused today about which recording is coming up.
Yeah, Michael wanted to record Polish today.
Yeah, but I'm okay. Inside chip of my super microprocessor in my head switched to English, so it should be fine.
Should be fine, yeah. So you didn't need to hard reset to do it.
No. I didn't need to hard reset.
So tell us, Michael, what you have been up to recently in your work.
So this is the part where I tell you that I just finished the NoOffice book, but it would be lie because I'm almost there. But then there are just so many things popping up that I have to take care of that I just don't have the time to finish writing it up. And this is like this annoying, because on one hand, I think it's kind of, I'm procrastinating, because it's just so, like this completing something is always like the last steps are always the worst, you just, because it's almost there, but you still have to complete it. It's like, it's not there yet. So I have just only, actually 2 chapters to write. So I it's not much, but on the other hand, we are preparing a course for Nozbe Teams to explain how Nozbe Teams works, but especially to explain to people how to deal with the situation now that the pandemic is still there, how to manage. Like there are a 3-step video course. So first we're going to do a webinar. So first we're going to do a webinar for people who are interested in this, and the webinar will be about managing team when not everyone is in the office. So we'll deal with, our pyramid of communication, with trust issues, with meetings, like with all that stuff. So, and this will be like a very big, feature-packed webinar. So for this webinar, I recorded a promo video and I recorded also some additional footage that we'll use. And then later from this webinar, we'll create a course, like a 3-video course, which will also be free for everyone who's interested, to explain to people why they have to change the habits of how they work, because not everyone is in the office, because there is no office. And also how to use Nozbe Teams in this context and how we use Nozbe Teams in this context. Because of that, so I have these 2 things, like this webinar and then later course. And then on the other hand, I have this book. So I'm just writing all the time, but I'm not still finishing everything. So hopefully next week, I'll finally have finished the book. So so I decided this week, this week I'll finish the course, like the content for the course, because once I have that, then the rest of my team can take over and create stuff for me. And then I can get back to the book. And then once I finish the book, then, again, things can happen. So this is this situation where I'm almost there. I'm almost done. I'm almost finished with things, and I have to just, evaluate which things I have to finish first so that the rest of the team can just take over and continue. So yeah, tricky business.
What's the plan? Is finishing a book connected with this webinar? Is it necessary to do the webinar?
No. These are 2 completely separate projects, because the webinar will have its own promo, its own ads, its own everything, because it's very practical webinar about managing remote team. And then later, to people who sign up for webinar, we can then later send them also the link to the book, and to encourage them to just keep diving into this. But they are unrelated. the book promo and the whole thing about the book will be a different topic. So it's there.
You know what you could do?
Yes.
As you only need to complete 2 chapters. There are many unknowns. There are no many unknowns, as we previously published some ebooks.
Yes.
And so on. So maybe you need a public deadline for this.
Exactly.
And you can announce it on our webinar.
Exactly. So what we know is that the webinar will be in early April. So it will be like mid-April. It will be like I think on the 14th or something. And I'm hoping if the webinar page, I think the webinar page should be up by the time this episode airs. So people, on the April 14th. So we will link in the show notes to the webinar landing page so people can sign up for the webinar. Again, you want to, if you're interested in helping you manage your company or helping be part of a company that has not everyone in the office, that that is partially working from home or mainly working from home or whatever, like this webinar is for you. So it's going to be really awesome. It's going to be packed with like lots of things from the book, like lots of knowledge from the book, but also practical how we use Nozbe Teams. So, you would want to do that. But then later, I think because the book is it's broader, it has more content. So the book is, for these people who will take part in the webinar, the book will be great to just, for the stuff to sink in even more. These projects are very, very well correlated, but they're not connected really because like the webinar and the webinar promo and all that stuff will go one way, and then book promo and the, book launch team and the book launch will be also the other way. So yeah,
but still, webinar could be the first part of the promotion process for the book.
It could be, and that's a good point. And we'll think how to incorporate all that, because before we launch the book, we want to have also like a platform where we do a launch team, so that people who are really interested in the book can help me out. Edit the book before it ships, like edit the last chapters. Just give me feedback on the book overall. And help us spread the word about the book. And we don't know yet where we're going to host the launch team, because I don't want to use Facebook groups, because Facebook.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yes. So we'll see where we'll do it. But, over the course of next week, we should figure out, where we want to host the book launch team. So maybe if also once the webinar, like on the webinar, we can also announce so that people can join the book launch team as well to help us out. And if they're very interested in the subject. So, and get an early sneak peek into all that.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right. So as from my side, I want to talk about some like journaling. As you recently talked about it, and you get back to it, because I used to journal. I didn't in 2020. I didn't journal, and I think it's important to journal, to keep your focus on what's important on regular basis. It helps you just reflect if you're just on the right track, on the right direction, which you've set up for the year. When you can hear about it in our previous episodes when we talked about setting directions instead of goals. So I have 2 journals right now, and I want to talk about one of them today. And second, I want to discuss in the future, because that's more related to private stuff.
Okay.
And the first one is more related to work stuff, maybe not only about work, but all about. It's my productivity journal.
Okay.
So very connected to the work. Yeah. And I use the paper one from guys from Cortex. They call it Team System Journal. They prepared this notebook to be a dedicated journal. And what I like it is it is a product with a system in mind, how to use it, but still they maintain to be very flexible to your needs. So just like our Nozbe apps, we have some kind of system in mind how to use, how to communicate via tasks, but that can be adjusted to many industries. So as I said, it's more like work and habits, productivity habits related journal. Every day before I start the work, I just write in this journal, and when I finish my work, I also write in the journal. So it's like 2, 5, 10 minute sessions every day. And I decided to do it like in a physical notebook with pen and paper, just to give me a rest from all the screens and devices. As many activities I do, not only in work, are related to technology. So it's a nice break, and it's kind of a challenge for me, as I never had a very nice how to say it, writing character. Can I say it in English like this? Or
yeah, maybe, yeah, writing style. I don't know.
Writing style, yeah. So basically, many letters that I write looks like it's written by a 10-year-old kid. So, so yeah, that's something worth to develop the skill to write nicer. This journal it has 3 sections. First section is for your yearly theme. So basically, your direction. Where are you going in this year? So we talked about it in previous episodes. And the second section is for your proper journal. It consists with 4 blocks, and it's just empty blocks. You can just write whatever you want there. And I did it like that, the way that in the first block I write all the good stuff that happened yesterday. In the second, all the bad stuff that happened yesterday. In the third, that is the largest one, I wrote what I'm proud of that I did accomplished yesterday, or that I started yesterday, or what I'm thankful for, and some random ideas, maybe ideas for podcast episodes. And the last one is short. It's what I'm waiting for, what I'm excited about. For example, like releasing NoOffice book could be a good example. Or going to visit my parents finally. Yeah. So yeah, this is how I do it. And the first section, it's like kind of table of habits. You can write down your 8 to 10 habits and just score every day how well you do it. And what I like about it is that it's not 0-1 score. You can easily divide it to, for example, have more points per habit.
Okay.
A diet habit. So keeping diet is a good example for this, because thanks to this, I can keep track of if I eat only good stuff during the day, and if I eat during a proper period of time. Okay. So not after 7 p.m. for example. Okay. So I can keep track of both things in a single habit. And what I learned, it's recently when I started to keep track of it in a journal, I managed to keep those hours of eating good, but not all the good stuff to eat. But it's a progress. So
you still have, so you are using a paper journal, so not an electronic journal, not just like myself, because I have, as you know, I have the electronic journal. I have my
in shortcuts automated.
I have my automated shortcuts, and we'll link in the show notes to my journal. In my journal, I divided. So my question: when do you write your journal?
In the morning when I start the work, before I start the work, and after I finish my work, just to close up the work day, like mentally. You know?
So what I do is I usually write the journal down in the evening, just before going to sleep. So, or before going to sleep, or to sit, watch a TV series with my wife or something like this, but like in the evening. So this is what I do with my evening journal. And then my morning journal, like every morning. And for me, for example, to me, the most important thing is the evening journal. So I want to make sure that I do that. The morning journal, sometimes I forget about it. Sometimes it's just, I just start the day a little bit late or whatever. So sometimes the morning journal is being skipped, especially on the weekends. Yeah. I don't really, I prefer to just, be just bored and, have a slow start. So I don't care that much. But recently because of my shortcut, I managed to be pretty consistent on the weekdays to also do the morning journal. And I think what you're doing is right, and what I'm doing, that you have both morning and evening ritual to write something, because it's a good, as you said, it's a good way to start a day and it's a good way to finish the day. And especially, as we always said, it's great to plan tomorrow, today. So in the evening journal, you can just look what's going to happen tomorrow. This is what I do. When I do my evening journal, automatically I see the calendar entries for tomorrow. So I know, what's going to happen tomorrow. And I write my 3 most important tasks, up to 3 most important tasks for tomorrow. And that's it.
Yeah, and it's a good tip to also in Nozbe, as in the previous episode, we talked about keeping focus in Nozbe personal, in Nozbe teams, so you can have only your priority view visible for you. So it's a good thing when you do journal in the evening or after work to plan your priorities for the next day.
Yes,
and make sure that when you open the next day your priority view, there's only the most important tasks, so you want to start with them.
Yes, I keep improving the journal. My journal shortcut. I keep tweaking it, and recently I just realized that the link that we're gonna post in the show notes, I'm going to start putting there, like updating it. So I want to put there like versions of each journal. So this way, when we link to this episode, when I link to this blog post from somewhere else, people will always know that this is the latest version of my journal. So this way, they will be able to see it. Because, for example, one of the things that you mentioned, and I haven't added as a question, because there is this whole balance. I don't want to, as you know, to keep the journal regular, you cannot add too many things, because then you will just, not.
Yeah, the barrier of entry will be too big.
But there's one question or one thing that I want to try to add and see how it goes. And then if it goes okay, I'm going to add it permanently to this journal, is what you're proud of. I like this question. And I like this question to be able at the end of the day to say what I'm proud of. Because as you know, in the morning, I'm asking what I'm thankful for what happened yesterday, what I'm thankful for, kind of opportunity I'm thankful for, and if there are anything small that I'm thankful for. So these 3 questions, I'm asking them in the morning. And this thankfulness is good in the morning because you want to be like, inspired, and thankful and be in a good mood. But at the end of the day, it's good to start to find a thing that you're proud of for today, to also put you in a good mood to sleep, so that you are like, I'm proud of something I did, What do you think?
Yeah, I think everyone should figure out their own questions.
Yes.
That would work for them, but it's good to start with inspiring from someone else. You can copy our questions and just see if it works for you.
But that's the cool thing about the shortcut I'm publishing. I'm publishing a shortcut that you can modify. Like it's just my shortcut, but you can modify it. You can change the question. You can it's pretty.
Yeah, and that's how this team system journal from Cortex guys is built. It's not the questions are not there. You write them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, one of the questions that I added for morning journal was from the book The One Thing, and it's the focusing question. What's the one thing?
What's the one thing
that I can do right today? So to make everything else easier or unnecessary, right? Yeah. and this question is so good. Like asking this question every day in the morning is great. Like because it even if you have like 3 tasks for tomorrow for today, like 3 major things or 4 major things, when you ask this question, like you have the instant clarity. Okay, but what's the one thing that has to happen today? This thing. Okay.
So you're saying it's better for this question for morning,
yes,
for evening when you plan your next day, kind of?
No, because when I plan my next day, I'm still in this optimistic mood, like tomorrow let's do this and let's do this and let's do this.
Yeah,
but in the morning, you're like, okay, now we have to get stuff done. And then there's the focusing question. What's the one thing you want to do? And
we are very optimistic about the future always, especially you.
Especially me. Yeah, I'm the recovering optimist or whatever. And I'm not recovering. I'm still an optimist and I'm not going to recover from it. So it's better to embrace my constraints of just being a constant optimist. So that's why for me, this focusing question in the morning prompts me to really reevaluate all my hopes and dreams for today and just ask this. Okay, what's for today? Good. And then it's easier.
That was our journaling system. I hope we inspired you to keep your journals.
Yes.
Automated with shortcuts or pen and paper.
There are many studies and many, we cannot quote them, but there are many studies or many kind of interviews with high achievers, like people who achieved much more than we did, who swear by journaling. The journaling gives them a way to let thoughts out and gives them a way to process their thoughts and just be better at whatever they're doing. Yeah,
for me, it's also it's healthy because it's a moment in a day for some short reflection.
Yes.
Not only what to do, what I did, but about my emotions. Mm-hmm. Because with all the crazy world that all the productivity to do constantly something, you need those moments to stop for couple of minutes and reflect on emotions. All right. So once again, that was journaling, our journaling systems. And let's jump to our Nozbe Pro Tips Corner. So today I wanted to discuss using tags and categories. Mm-hmm. So for example, there's this concept in GTD, waiting for.
Yes.
So all the tasks, all the things you are waiting for. So you will have to act on this, but you are waiting for the input from different person. So in Nozbe Personal, you can just create a category, waiting for, and just mark tasks you are waiting for with this category. I do it like this, and I have a link to this category in my weekly review checklist. So I check every week those tasks if they are ready to act on them, or maybe I should follow up with someone to remind them to do what I'm waiting for. And basically in Nozbe Teams with using tag, it works the same. You can even in Nozbe Teams make this tag favorite, so it's on the top of your sidebar of the main menu in the app.
Tags and categories, tags in Nozbe Teams and categories in Nozbe Personal, like there is a reason why they are called differently, because in Nozbe Teams it's a newer app, so we just decided to embrace the notion of tags, because tags are even more broad than categories, and with tags you can do really magic things. And we are going to, in Nozbe Teams, where we'll be working on improving tags even more. There are things that I want to discuss with you, Rafał, in the next design fight. I have something prepared for you.
I will spoil that alert, but I will probably have topic about tags for the next design fight.
Exactly. So I also have some thoughts. So it's good. So the idea about like with tags, I was talking to customer, and as you know, I talk to customers. We discussed this in the previous show. So when I was talking to one of our customers, he showed me like how he uses tags to see a progress of a task. So instead of making a task like done, like, the first step, and then create another task for a second step, another task for a third step, which is good. Or in Nozbe Teams, you can have in project you have sections, and you can move a task from one section to another. What he's doing is he's using tags. So he's assigning a tag, or in Nozbe Personal, a category, so that he sees very easily, which if the task has, first category, second category, third category. This way he sees the progress of a task. So his people on his team know that they cannot complete a task. They have to just, add additional category once they've, made progress on this.
Yeah.
And this way, what he tells me is that at one glance of the task list, he knows exactly which task is at which point, at which, stage, without clicking on the task to just really see the details. I haven't seen such a system before, and I'm really happy that our apps can enable such a system. And I have a few ideas. Then, so maybe the next design fight will be more about tags for us. I think that we can even enable a much robust system in this sense. So yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, no, like it's a sign that tax system works.
Yes,
works okay. Yes, it's supposed to be very flexible and
because in different industries you have different things. So you can tag with as you said, waiting for, but you can tag with designed, then later prepared, then later production, then later after production, whatever. So you can do this, and then you can do a status update of a software tag or of a software task. So like the tag system or the category system is very flexible, and I'm happy that you're preparing a new topic on this, because we need to improve tags in Nozbe teams and to really enable this kind of creativity, because this is what makes our app that it can be so flexible in just so many different industries.
Okay, so speaking of our app, NoOffice podcast is sponsored by Nozbe Teams, a to-do app for teams that wants to achieve more. Let's hear what Nozbe customers say about the product.
My name is André Taschel. I'm CEO of a German-based marketing company with a focus on digital topics. Nozbe is for us kind of a productivity boost. So we use it for all our to-dos we have, especially where the team is related, but as well everybody in person, and for his personal goals, sometimes the people as well for their private things. So everything which needs to be organized as duties, to-dos, or something else is in our Nozbe, and so it's kind of our external working brain.
So Rafał, speaking of Nozbe customers and potential Nozbe customers, just today I went to see my neighbor's factory. He's producing different kind of leather types, and then from him, companies buy the leather, the different shapes, different structures, like whatever. They buy this leather from him to create, shoes, to create
iPhone cases,
exactly, all that stuff. Anyway, I went to his factory and I was talking to his son, who's right now managing this factory. His son is my age, so it was a very cool discussion. And he asked me what I was doing, because he was curious about my business. And as you know, very often for us, it's kind of difficult to explain what Nozbe Teams is all about. Like what are we doing? So it's this project management and then task management, blah 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 blah. And this is kind of confusing. But I tried to explain to him. I don't know, for some reason, this kind of elevator pitch is really hard always. But I tried to explain it to him, and then he got it. But his explanation was very cool, because he said, so it's like WhatsApp, but more organized.
Yeah, kind of.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's like WhatsApp, but more organized. Exactly. Because, so then I asked him, a follow-up question. So you're using WhatsApp to get stuff organized in your team? Yes, we are. But of course, it's a chaos, because then you have scrolled to messages, you have to see in the message history, like what happened, because the messages are fast, and then you get all the push notifications from all the groups that you're in. So I am going to, at some point, once I finish the book and whatever, I'm going to maybe record a show, or maybe we will just write a blog post as well about Nozbe Teams being a WhatsApp, but more organized, because to show the problems that WhatsApp has, or any kind of, quick messaging thing has, whether it's WhatsApp, Telegram, or Signal, or whatever you're using, or iMessage.
More organized and with privacy.
Exactly, more organized and with privacy. Because like all these things, like, privacy, more organized, you don't get all the notifications, because we have, incoming, we have activity, like all that stuff. So, but I just liked his analogy, which is exactly, we want, because in the end, when you think about it, we want small teams that are used to using WhatsApp and kind of these things to switch to Nozbe Teams, to really be more organized. So yeah, there you go. A different pitch from a different potential customer.
All right, so let's jump to our technology geeky segment. And today, as you are the iPad guy, and we talk a lot about iPads, as we love them.
Yes.
So let's talk more, because by the end of the March, there will be a new episode of the podcast iPad Pros by Tim Chatton, and you were the guest in the episode.
So the episode will air probably on Thursday, 25th of March, so 1 week after this episode airs. And with Tim, we geeked out on the iPads. We talked about all the apps that I use on the iPad, the Magic Keyboard accessory, how good it is, all that stuff. So if you want to dive in, just we'll link in the show notes to the podcast, so you can subscribe to it before my episode airs, and then Tim will be happy to have more subscribers, and you will be able to be very happy, listening to me geeking out on the iPad. So part of it is there, but apparently on the March 23rd, there might be an Apple event, and there might be new iPads coming, something like this.
According to Mark Gurman rumors, there will be new iPad Pros, and they will have like M1 Max level of performance, which is cool. Maybe the big iPad 12.9 will have mini LED display. They will have probably better cameras and maybe 5G. And if that's all, to be honest, for me, these are not compelling devices. And I hope they will not be compelling for me, as I don't want to spend so much money on gadgets this year, as I already plan to buy new Mac this year. That will be a huge expense. So I wanted today to do a thought experiment. And Michael, let's imagine that we are in charge of iPad hardware and iPad OS development, and what features we would have appetite for to bring to iPad platform in this year.
Okay. So one of the negative things about the rumor for me, just to finish this topic, is the fact that only the bigger iPad will have more features and better screen, because I don't use a 13-inch iPad. I use the 11-inch. I prefer this small size. I don't. The 13-inch iPad is too big for me. It's too clumsy for me. I don't like handling it. I had it. I sold it. I don't want it. So this makes it even less compelling thing for me to buy if they just upgrade, to 5G and whatever. So it's not much. Okay, but let's focus right now on the potential, on the, as you said, the appetite, what we could do to make the iPad better. One of the things I was talking to Tim about in his podcast, was the fact that the external screen support could be much better, because the iPad is a very powerful device. The iPad's USB-C port is just USB-C. It's not Thunderbolt. And if it would be Thunderbolt, and if it could drive even bigger screens than 4K,
it could be USB 4.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because it's compatible with Thunderbolt. Yeah, it will be one. Finally, it's the Thunderbolt and USB 4. It's the same.
Yes. So the external display would be great, because you have a very powerful iPad. It's very powerful. So to be able to hook it up to a big screen and just, for example, put additional stuff on the, really additional stuff on the other screen, and use the trackpad to manage it, and then still have the touch screen in front of you, would be awesome. This is why I use my iMac, actually. I use my iMac because iMac is my reference screen. I just put stuff on the iMac, but then I really get my work done on the iPad. So I would do that without the iMac. I could do it with just an external screen, Yeah,
and iPad screams for this to be better.
Yes.
And it's the great example that today the barriers for iPad to grow are not in the hardware. No. They are on the software side.
Exactly, because the iPad will be powerful enough to really drive the additional screen and not sweat. Not a problem. So this should happen. This should be there. Because, and especially, I'm hoping, again, hardware-wise, I'm hoping that this year, because there are rumors about it, Apple will release an Apple display. It will not only release the iMac, the bigger iMac, a better iMac, a nicer iMac, and powerful iMac, but also a kind of similar display, not this very expensive 6K display that costs 6K.
6K in price. Yeah.
6K in price, but an external display that costs, $1,000 something, which you can buy, and then you can connect it to a Mac, or you can connect it to an iPad, and they just have a glorious, big display without some of these, super fancy high-end features, but really a good, nice Retina display. and then you could drive it from the iPad, and just use it, like with a trackpad. Why not? This would be really awesome.
Yeah, and that way you will not you will be able to use iMac as your external source of reference material. Yeah?
Exactly. Like really, it's I already like in the iPad OS we already have that thing that that we have kind of desktops, right? So we have this one in split screen, this one not in split screen. You have all these desktops, so just send it to the big screen, and it's there. Yeah. And then you can use the keyboard and trackpad to manage it. Of course, this external display will not be touchscreen, but you don't need the touchscreen, to have a reference material. It's fine to use the trackpad for that. It's okay.
Yeah, another this kind of feature would be to better support for audio and external cameras. So currently, you only one app can grab audio input from your microphone, which connects to the iPad, and that makes recording a podcast on iPad pretty tricky, as you want to put the signal from your microphone both to the person you are talking to via Skype or Zoom or FaceTime, and both to the local recording. And currently it's not possible. It's also not possible to connect external camera, for example, when you want to record some live video show, as we do for Polish podcast. So this is the limitation of software for iPad OS. Not hardware is ready for this.
Completely. Additional thing, which is not only related to iPad, but it's related to the whole productivity part, is it has to do with the Mac, it has to do with the iPhone, it has to do with the iPad. We already have handoff. So, for example, if I copy something on the iPad, I can paste it in the iPhone.
I use it all the time.
Yes. Why don't we have an OS-based clipboard that is multi-item clipboard?
Yeah, the history of clipboard. Yeah,
exactly. Why not? Like, I can just copy several things to the clipboard on the Mac and then access these things on the iPad. Why not? And the same goes with iPad. I can just copy several things from the iPad and then paste them somewhere else, like paste all of them or paste some of them. I already use the copied app, for example, on the iPhone and iPad to share the clipboard like this and to have multi-clipboard thing. On the Mac, I'm using Alfred, and then there is a big clipboard as well. But I think a thing like clipboard should be OS-based, and the OS should have a powerful clipboard. And it's 2021, man. Like what's going on?
Yes, totally agree. But like today, I use Paste app on Mac, and that's the same. And when I hit Command-Shift-V, I get all the history, and I can search.
Yes,
with my and copy it. And today I like when I prepare, for example, a podcast episode to publish with a blog post and all the show notes, etc. Like I use it a lot. I use clipboard history in my Mac to copy the stuff once again that was copied like 5 or 6 times before. And then with universal clipboard, I get it on my iPad when I write this blog post. So so I connect those two, but that's only possible when you work on both devices at the same time.
What I do, for example, if I because I repost our NoOffice podcast and on my personal blog as well. So what I do is I go, once you publish the NoOffice podcast, you publish it on Friday, and then I republish it on Monday on my blog. Yeah. So this way we get additional reach and whatever. So, and I want to have the history of all the podcasts as well on my blog. So what I do is I copy on the iPad, I copy the link to the title of the episode. I copy the link to YouTube. I copied the link to the MP3 file from Transistor. And these 3 things I copy to the copied file, the copied app. And in the copied app, I select these 3 items, go share, and then use a shortcut that takes all these 3 items and prepares a blog post out of these. So as you can see, I need all these 3 items. I can just select them. So basically, I already have that. But it would be great to have that natively.
I wonder if you could build a shortcut that just takes our blog post and get automatically this content separately, like YouTube link, MP3 link, and so on, with this get contents of URL action in shortcuts?
Yeah, I think I could. You're right. This way it would be just even easier. Yeah, you're right. Thanks. I'll check it out tomorrow. That's why Friday is for. Friday is good because on Friday you can do crazy projects like that because it's personal development. So you can just improve your shortcuts. Great.
Yeah. So speaking of shortcuts, I would like to have more shortcuts that are connected to those features like screen time and app limits. As recently I tried to use it and it's not very customizable. And I'd like to have this kind of mode for iPad that when I finish with my work, I want to switch to this personal mode that all the apps that are work related are dimmed, they are not showing any notifications, any badges, and so on. And I have available my private apps or social media apps for example, and I would like to connect it with some accessories, because imagine this: you use your iPad with Magic Keyboard, for work, and when you're done with the work for today, you can just disconnect iPad from Magic Keyboard and put it with a Smart Folio case, and that should trigger this automation to switching to this personal mode.
Yeah.
That would be cool, but probably you need NFC tags in these accessories, or maybe some.
No, I mean the thing knows where it's connected to. I think
Magic Keyboard, yes, but I don't think Smart Folio without a keyboard has this smart connector.
Ah, okay. Yeah, but anyway, there are just so many things missing that can be added to shortcuts. Like, for example, we use VPN, and we talked about security the last time.
Yeah, there's no shortcut to trigger VPN.
Like this should be obvious. Especially when we are posting something to our internal blog and whatever, I have to create an alert saying turn on VPN. Is VPN on? Because otherwise, I forget about it. And
you know what? There are, because from iPadOS 14 and iOS 14, I think apps are able to trigger VPN in the apps itself. You don't have to go to settings. You can trigger the VPN via the app of VPN provider.
Yeah, but
so maybe there are some apps that supports our type of VPN, and they have support for shortcuts. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't need any additional apps. I just want to be able to just
I know, but
and
that's workaround for your problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also speaking of the settings and stuff, one of the most powerful thing that finally works very well on the iOS is the keyboard the keyboard snippets. Finally, they work, and they work reliably and then sync reliably, which is great. But to open keyboard snippets, you have to go to settings, general, keyboard, text replacement, and there you are. Why? Why do I have to go through 4 or 5 menus to get to text replacement? This deserves to be somewhere else so that I can really edit it quickly and add new things quickly,
Yeah, I think that Federico Vitici once posted all the shortcuts with these deep links to all the nested settings. So you can minimize those tabs from 4 to 2.
Okay. Probably. Okay. Good. Yeah. So I have to figure it out.
Yeah, but it was a hack. It was hard to discover those links.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the face in obvious way. Yeah? But still there are plenty of things that shortcuts should be able to do. But it's a good thing that with every major OS they update it and give us more flexibility. Yeah, it would be cool also to have widgets. That's pretty obvious.
Yeah. I mean, this is coming, I'm sure. They didn't do it for the iPad, but they will do it for the iPad. I mean, it's a bigger screen. We deserve widgets, and especially now that we are almost. Can I already spoil that we are finishing widget support for Nozbe Teams?
Yeah, it will take probably maybe 2-3 weeks, but Or maybe we will see.
I mean, we already
but we are working on this.
We're working on the widgets.
I'm comfortable saying that we are working on this.
Yeah, we're working on the widgets for Nozbe Teams finally. It's a finally with big F because we are very late to the widget party. But the widgets should be critical, and hopefully then we can use these widgets, on our iPads very soon. Let's see.
Yeah. And one hardware feature I would like to see in new iPads, but maybe compelling for me, is there's rumors that new MacBooks will have MagSafe code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and maybe I like Apple to invest, and maybe I probably do, but to invest research and development resources to provide this kind of magnetic connection that also supports data with high capacity. So the dream is that you just walk to your desk with your iPad and you snap the iPad magnetically, and now it's connected to your external display, to all your hubs, and it charges. Yeah. That would be cool, yeah?
Yeah, and the Magic Keyboard the port in Magic Keyboard should also support the external hubs instead of just supporting power through, because this way you can have the Magic Keyboard on the desk as kind of your dock. So it would be connected to everything. You just snap the iPad on it, and then iPad instantly connects to everything that the Magic Keyboard is connected to. So for example, your LAN, your HDMI, your external display, which we discussed, it should be better. So all these things would be connected to. So Apple, think about it. If you do that, maybe then I'll buy 2 Magic Keyboards, have one on the desk and one on the go, so think about it. More money for Apple.
Michael would buy additional.
No, but Rafa, I would totally do it. If I would have a docking station like this, and why? Why not? I would completely do it. I would have one Magic Keyboard, for example, in my lying around near my, I don't know, bed or somewhere else in the house where I frequently go with the iPad. But then I would have one Magic Keyboard, and then I could just very quickly put it in my backpack. And if you're curious about my backpack contents, go to michael.team/backpack, and you will see all the contents of my backpack. Anyway, this would be great. And then have one permanent, dock on my desk. One of the productivity tips we always say is that you shouldn't rely on just one place to charge. You should always have additional charger, in your bag, and additional charger just always there near your desk, so you don't have to search for a charger. And this is the same thing, Of course, Magic Keyboard is very expensive, but having Magic Keyboard always ready with connected everything, this is kind of nice feeling and nice. I don't know. It's just nice, and it's something that in productivity terms, it just makes you more productive and happier to use. So yeah, Apple, think about it. Then I'll buy more Magic Keyboards, because Magic Keyboard is great, but it should connect to external accessories.
Okay, and from my list of wishes, something which I called virtual macOS, as iPad and Mac are now the same architecture. So maybe maybe it's from the business point of view, it doesn't make sense for Apple. Yeah, but it's definitely possible technically to provide some macOS functionality on the iPad. Maybe only terminal. All the things you can do in terminal in macOS, you should be able to do on iPad just by running virtual macOS, this light version without all the GUI, but for example, you can install all the developer tools there. That would be cool.
It's funny that when you think about it, whatever we're discussing, the hardware of the iPad is okay. We are not telling that the design should be different. I love Face ID on the iPad. I love it. It's this thing that I can just unlock it with my face is really good. Especially that, I'm not wearing mask in my home office because I'm just alone here. So I can really unlock it very easily. And the form size, the thinness of the iPad, everything about it is just great. So what we're talking here are minor tweaks to make iPad even better, and most of them are software wise. Hardware, the USB 4, the Thunderbolt, all that stuff, and some improvements to Magic Keyboard, but there are not many more improvements. To me, iPad is just such a compelling device already right now. Such a powerful device. It's such a compelling device. It's really good.
Yeah, exactly. I use it every day, and I every time I'm amazed by how cool does it feel to use it.
Yeah, and I mean, just think about it. I'm writing my entire book on the iPad. The entire NoOffice book, it's written on the iPad. I use working copy to send stuff to Git because we use GitHub to store all the versions of the book. Because I write the book in open source, so like everybody can see the contents of the book on GitHub. And also I use AI Writer as my main writing machine. I use the Magic Keyboard, and I use Nozbe Teams to collaborate and with Magda on the book. And that's it. So everything, I use just the iPad. I don't need anything else to write the book successfully. And because it's a NoOffice podcast, I would like to mention that iPad is already a very compelling device for people who like to work flexibly, because iPad also is very light. You can, put it in a bag, put it in a man bag, put it in a man purse, put it in a normal purse, put it in a small backpack, and just take it everywhere with you. The battery life is great,
You can even put it in the coat if you have big enough pockets.
So, and then the battery life is great. Maybe with Magic Keyboard it's not 10 hours, but 8 hours, but still it's just lots of hours. So it's fantastic. So you just take it and you just work with it somewhere, and it's, no problem. So you don't think about, charging it. And then additionally, it's, if you buy the LTE or in the future 5G version, the cool thing is that it's always online, just like your iPhone. So there's no need to dial in to search for Wi-Fi hotspots or whatever. You are just online all the time. And for this purpose, iPad is a very cool NoOffice device, because it's a powerful computer that you can carry with you everywhere, and it's online all the time, and it just works.
It's the more flexible mobile computer ever. Yeah. We already talked a lot about iPad, so maybe let's keep Lilacs corner for today, as my throat is very dry right now.
Okay.
So I don't want to speak anymore. Thanks for listening. And remember, today is Friday, so make it Mighty Friday. Do your weekly review, plan priorities for next week, and learn something new, and have a great weekend. You can find us on Twitter. Michael is at msliwinski, at MSLIWINSKI, and I'm Sobolowy. It's SOBOLOWY. That's it for today. Say goodbye, Michael.
So thanks for listening. Please give us recommendation, and recommend this episode to anyone who's interested in NoOffice, in technology. And also, because today is Friday, so make sure to dedicate some time to tweak your shortcuts, to check your automations, and to learn some new stuff. And as we discussed today with Rafał, there are just new options and maybe new features of automations or shortcuts that you can find, that you can learn about. And this and investment in learning these things can make you more productive next week. So make sure to spend time on this. This is what Friday should be all about.
This episode has not been created in the office, because in Nozbe there is no office. Your hosts were Michael Sliwinski and Rafał Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you can find on nooffice.fm/15. If you want to support us, sign up for a free account in Nozbe Teams and invite your team members. Remember to leave us a review in Apple Podcasts. Audio version produced by Rafał Sobolewski. Visual identification and video version produced by Marco Couto. Proofreading by Magda Błaszczyk. Promotion by Ewelina Przywara. The whole production process has been coordinated in a project in Nozbe Teams app. Control is good, but trust in your team is better. Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.